Not every chilling horror scene makes it to the big screen. Whether for pacing reasons, keeping the MPAA rating at an accessible R, or simply the filmmakers going in a different direction, these scenes were left on the cutting room floor. But they're no less terrifying on their own. Here are some of the scariest deleted scenes from your favorite horror movies. But beware the spoilers. The Cocoon Room. There were a lot of ideas that never came to fruition in Ridley Scott's Alien, but what we were left with was still a groundbreaking extraterrestrial thriller, often imitated, never quite matched. The plot follows a commercial space crew awoken from stasis after receiving a signal from an alien craft. They're overrun by the bloodthirsty extraterrestrial monster, with Officer Ripley emerging as the central heroine and only survivor. One of the deleted scenes from the film might have answered a few questions left about the alien and escalated the fear factor. In this Cocoon Room scene, Ripley happens upon the trapped bodies of the deceased Brett and the still-alive Dallas, whose whereabouts were otherwise unknown after they ran into the creature in the original cut. As an act of mercy, Ripley has to fireblast Dallas, which is pretty raw, even for Alien. The Baboon Cat. The Fly is a seminal piece of horror, with or without its scariest deleted scene. The sci-fi thriller followed Seth Brundle as he became a victim of his own oddball scientific experiments. He slowly morphed into a human-fly hybrid that was desperate to save his new species by making a baby with his human girlfriend. In this deleted scene, even though Brundle's teleportation experience has clearly altered his own DNA, he's still splicing animals together in his lab. This time, it's a baboon and a house cat, which when combined becomes a two-headed, sharp-toothed beast that goes on the attack and has to be exterminated. It might have been a bit too obvious as foreshadowing if left in, but the scene definitely doesn't offer much hope for Brundle's own future as a fellow lab mutant.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Visions of Hell. Event Horizon is filled with stomach-churning imagery. The movie followed a space crew as they attempted to make contact with a vessel that was temporarily lost to a black hole and layered itself with disturbing visuals before jumping headlong into a living nightmare. But as sinister as the scenes of this space inferno already are, the movie's original vision of the bad place was even more disturbing.
A dimension of pure chaos. Pure evil.
In this deleted scene, Dr. William Ware has been fully transformed into the slash-faced demon that haunts the ship and its remaining crew, and Captain Miller is chased down and treated to an extreme vision of the other side. Impaled, limb-ripped bodies are on display as the living are tied down and tortured. The plights of these human souls may differ slightly, but the suffering is universal. Given the graphic nature of this footage, it's not hard to see why an abbreviated version was ultimately what made it into theaters. Even Dante might have shuddered at the sight of this much underworldly punishment. Dr. Satan's Last Lunge. With The Devil's Rejects, writer-director Rob Zombie took a decidedly different approach to the macabre than he did with its predecessor, House of a Thousand Corpses. Rather than relying on gruesome imagery and the loathsome lair of the Firefly family, the movie leaned harder on a slow burn of emotional torture and depravity as it followed the three lead escapees through one final round of destruction. For that reason, this deleted scene wasn't a good fit. In the clip, we meet Dr. Satan again. The character's twisted experimental surgeries featured prominently in the first film, and in Rejects, he's been captured by the authorities, but he isn't as subdued as they think. His unsuspecting nurse gets her throat ripped out after he awakens from his feigned coma, and the move is so quick that the police and medical personnel can do nothing to stop her from bleeding out on the hospital floor. The Tilted Room. The adaptation of Stephen King's 1408 follows a skeptical haunted house story author as he rents out a deadly hotel room that's claimed the lives of dozens of occupants over the last century. What happens next is a bit formulaic, but is bolstered by sensory immersion, with enough paranormal surprises and emotional scenes to stick. In this deleted scene, John Cusack's estranged wife has been summoned to the hotel by his supernatural doppelganger, and he's powerless to stop her from trying to enter the room. As he tries to get close to prevent her from joining him, the room tilts to a degree that disables him from reaching the door. For all the elemental frights the room provided, this had to be the most disorienting, despite being deleted. The Final Cut. The theatrically released ending of Paranormal Activity was pretty upsetting. In the film, Katie and Mika are a young couple who've moved to the wrong house at the wrong time and can't shake the terrorizing spirits that came with it. Despite their best efforts to exorcise the evil spirits from their home, Katie is eventually possessed by the demon spirit and appears to end Mika by summoning him downstairs and then hurling his bloody body at the camera they've been using to document their haunting. She then shuffles on screen, looks at the camera, and offers a smile that makes it clear she's given herself over to evil. In the original ending, though, Katie returns to the bedroom in what appears to be a trance and sits rocking on the floor as time passes. Eventually, the police show up, find Mika's body, and make their way upstairs to Katie. She snaps out of her trance, but police believe she's a threat and shoot her. The scariest version, though, is the alternate ending, when instead of launching Mika's body at the camera, she returns to the frame herself, covered in blood and holding her kitchen knife, which she then uses on herself. Chances are this one was passed over because it would have ended the hit franchise before it began. But still, what a way to go. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.